Hi, this is Attorney Jeremy Worley with the Injury and Disability Law Center, and I wanted to talk a little bit about motorcycle accidents because motorcycle accidents have some very unique characteristics that make them different from typical car accident cases. So while oftentimes the motorcycle accident will operate legally in much of the same way as a typical car accident case, there are some unique properties that come with a motorcycle accident that I wanted to talk about. And the main difference is simply the damages that typically result from a motorcycle accident. Anytime you're dealing with a motorcycle accident, you're often dealing with things like broken bones, road rash, torn ligaments. We see much more significant injuries that typically result from the motorcycle accident. And that's oftentimes just the result of not having that protection that someone would typically have in a car. So anytime you're dealing with a situation where you've got more significant injuries, then that changes the negotiation and the value of cases. Because when you are valuing a personal injury case, which is what a motorcycle accident is, you not only have to account for those damages that have been incurred, so the past damages and injuries, but also those that are continuing on into the future. So we've got to account for the past and those that may be continuing. And when we're talking about a motorcycle accident, we're oftentimes dealing with those more substantial injuries, which then have a higher likelihood of being more permanent or longer lasting in nature. And because of that, we have to understand medically what's going on, how have you healed up, and then what are you potentially facing in the future. Because when you ultimately resolve your claim, you will be asked to sign a release, and that forever dismisses and discharges that claim. So when we're talking about a motorcycle accident, we have to be really careful that we understand everything going on medically for you. The other aspect of a motorcycle accident that we often see is just the emotional trauma that comes from it. Because unlike a car where you are more protected, when you have a motorcycle accident, you are almost always dealing with a type of life and death situation. It can be life-threatening, even in minor accidents. And so part of the damages that you are entitled to under New Mexico law is the emotional trauma that comes with a motorcycle accident. And so we always work hard to understand emotionally how potentially this has impacted you. And so oftentimes when we're talking about helping a motorcycle victim, we tend to be more involved on the medical aspects, even ensuring that you're getting the treatment that you need, because it may be that you need to go see a specialist, or you're concerned, do I have insurance and can I go see the medical providers and get the treatment that I need? And so we're oftentimes very heavily involved in the medical aspects of it to ensure our clients get the treatment that they need. The other part that sometimes will often come up is just helping families walk through this situation, because it does carry significant amounts of trauma, and we want to make sure you and your family are supported in that process. And again, that can depend on the type of injuries that you're dealing with, but that is something that we often see with a motorcycle accident. Finally, I want to address something I think motorcycle riders often feel, and that is just this built-in bias from insurance adjusters and opposing counsel and others who they feel like judge them unfairly or unfairly put blame on them simply because they ride a motorcycle, or they must have been speeding or being reckless. And I do feel that, get that feedback sometimes from riders that they feel like they're treated unfairly in the process. And so we work really hard to ensure that's not the case, that we take care of you, we fight for you, and we ensure all of your rights are protected. And that's the physical, the emotional damages, it may be financial losses. So anytime you're talking about a motorcycle accident, every aspect of damages tends to be magnified just simply because of the type of trauma that's typically involved. So we walk accident victims through that process and support you in every way that you need. If you have been a victim, I'd be happy to talk with you more about it, to explain to you how that process works. But I wanted to make this video to show you and explain to you a few of the unique parts of a motorcycle accident claim as opposed to just a typical car accident claim. So if you need help, give us a call. You can reach us on our website or call us at 575-300-4000.